What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid-trance. So we're going back to 1996. I mentioned it before, just an amazing year for acid-trance and hard-trance. Melodic trance as well, acid techno, hardcore. It just seems like so many of the classic 90s rave genres were really flourishing around 96, 97. So, and you know, in part that's based on my own perception. I'm sure you'll find people who were raving like earlier who think that like 92, 93 is the real sweet spot. But for the type of music I listen to, and even given that I like music that was popular before I joined the rave scene, meaning there are tunes from 93, 94, 95 that I really do like. But yeah, for me, you know, 96 is a real sweet spot for acid trance. We're going to listen to a tune by Skylab. Skylab is Guido and Cyrus. They released tracks under a couple different names. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, it's a German project, Cyrus and Guido. They're also known as Cyrus and the Joker. That's the one that I was trying to remember. And apparently Acid Phase too, but I don't really remember the Acid Phase stuff. Oh, that was all on Radar. I have a couple Radar records, but not the Acid Phase material, which makes me curious. But yeah, they also released tunes as Cyrus and the Joker. There's a track called Moonlight, which I'm a big fan of. But this track called Accident is, to my mind, the absolute gem on this label, VooDoo Records, which has a lot of really good hard and acid trance, in particular like acid trance, meaning like it's hard trance, but the acid is sort of the main feature, which for me is kind of like, you know, if you need to draw a line, which I don't usually need to do, often, you know, like my reaction playlist and my SoundCloud mix playlist, it says like acid/hard trance because, you know, I often combine them together in my mind. But again, tunes that like where the acid work is the real focus, that to me pushes it more into the acid trance category. That is definitely the case here. We also get an amazing like female vocal that it's not really a lyric, it's like a melodic sort of vocal, or like kind of tribal, you know, sort of sung or like shouted vocal. But it also has a false ending. The first time I heard it, for all the appearances, for all sounds that you hear, you think it is over, and then it storms back to life for one more section in full, like acid ride out before the end. So let's get to it. This is Skylab on VooDoo Records, 1996, and the track is Accident, and like I said, to my mind, the very best track on the entire label of VooDoo. Play it on the right tempo, yeah? Little like wooden percussion rhythm. Doing a little now the like ride cymbal bouncing over the top. The crash cymbal just being assaulted. Back to the sort of gurgling acid bass. Really turn the fires on low, just simmer. tune setting. Luca is dreaming and she's like... I do like that mystical... It's like this misty haze over the track, but like alien. The acid transformers cannot be contained. Overheating imminent. Dead pause? Dead pause vocal drop? The electricity of the acid here. Like an acid chainsaw. We're going higher. You know we're going higher. But now we got this second layer that's like swizzling around the main line. It's like metallic rhythm too. That crash cymbal is like... It will not let you just calmly sit by in the shadows during this track. It demands your attention. You're getting the like electric buzzy acid, the viscous liquid acid, lots of different like types of acid. And all the while and it's like freezing like way more than I used to. I noticed the cycles and shifting configurations of the percussion. Hats coming in, hats leaving, different type of cymbal, different type of cymbal coming back. Fade of acid-trance. Back to the sort of electric. Another one that like, sure you'd want to be mixing out by this point, but I'm double dropping this all the way to the last one of those. It's brilliant. Fantastic tune. Like I said, my favorite on the label, even if I do love a number of tracks on the label overall. Many of them are sort of like that. They have a lot of acid. That may be the most like serious and like driven that I can think of. There's some others that have like a more like, you know, trippy or kind of like meandering and melodic sort of vibe, but that is like a really hyper-focused, driven acid trance tune. So yeah, let me know what you think. Big shout out to Skylab, aka Cyrus and the Joker. Yeah, just a cool label. I feel like it doesn't have the same reputation as Time Unlimited, as Noom, as Eve, and maybe that's because, you know, there's not quite as many releases on it as there are on those other labels. But I think like when it was hitting, it was, you know, as good as any of the tracks on those other labels, which is a very high like compliment. Again, on a wider view, because the catalog is a bit smaller and maybe, you know, there's fewer people on the releases, I still think it's worthy of commendation. It's, you know, it may not be quite on the level of Noom or Eve or Time Unlimited on a wider view, but really top label. Maybe my favorite track from it. Pretty sure it's my favorite track from it. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace. Okay.